was much the same, with a gush of wonder from Cass, while Wigan struggled to put a plug in to stop the flow. Mind you, this all happened at the Menderhose, so what do you expect? Very clever, whoever you are.
Yeah.
Go on then, Mark. Let's talk us through it. I can see the deflation in your eyes, so I don't know if we're necessarily going to get a Mark rant out of this one. No, I'll try and prod you into one, like I usually do. But
the better team, quite simply, won. Yeah. Cass were outstanding, and Wigan were fucking abysmal. Mm-hmm. I don't... To say that Cass, the scoreline flattered Wigan... You know, I don't think Cass deserved the 50 points, because the last tries came off like a 1,000,000-yard forward pass, fucking quarterback Zach Hardacre, so he shouldn't have got to 50 points. But on the flip side of that, Cass more than deserved to put up 80 points. There was that much difference between the two sides. So, you know, swings and roundabouts on that regard. But, yeah, Wigan's players didn't quite look up for it. It didn't help with the in-game injuries. Because, you know, we were consistently...
It's a deciding, doesn't it? If you lose 3 players to injury, then that absolutely...
Well, by the end of the game, there was no fit bench left at all. But it wouldn't have made a difference. To be completely honest, it just makes a difference.
Not for the outcome, perhaps.
It makes a difference for the future, how things are going to go. But Wigan the players weren't covering for each other. They weren't giving each other runs other than Joel Tompkins, who we seemed to think was the secret weapon, and it actually worked out well, because we kept sending him back on this inside run, and then the one time that Escaré decided to get around the back, Sam Powell was able to dummy the inside sort of ball to Tompkins and get through the gap, because the defenders were watching what was going on elsewhere, and we actually looked like a decent set move on, and the halfback actually read the situation right, which was remarkable for Wigan's side. But for the Cass side, they read everything fucking right. They were brilliant. Yeah. They saw that. They must have realised that Gelling was nowhere near fit, and that Joel Tompkins wasn't quite up to scratch, and Sam Powell was playing in a different position to what he's played all season, with players around him that he's not used to defending next to necessarily. Right. So they picked on that edge straight off the bat and were able to make breaks. Now, the highlights of their tries don't quite show just how much they were picking holes in Wigan to get to where they were, and Wigan scrambled and sorted it out, and then in the end conceded shitty fucking soft tries.
Sorry, Sam Powell was in the halves then?
Yeah.
Right, so McIlroy back in at hooker.
Yeah, and Josh Ganson got his debut off the bench, and he didn't do himself a disservice, I don't feel. And Ryan Sutton ran hard for Wigan, and Tom Davis did everything you've come to expect from Tom Davis. From Castleford's point of view, Matt McMeekin's try was embarrassing for Wigan, because no fucking defender even tried to fucking tackle him, and this is where you get a bit of a hint of a Mark rant. Right. But outside of that, everything Cass did to get to that point was amazing. But Matt McMeekin, beyond that simple walkthrough that Wigan just opened the path up for him, was brilliant in this game. Yeah. And they have like 2 different sides, don't they, in a lot of ways at Castleford. They have one side that's offloady, improvisational, and wide-running second row, and on the other side, it's set plays, dummy runners, and well-timed precision.
Oh, they're liquid to watch.
And both sides work so well, and both aspects work so well, and they just kept picking up on things like a Wigan player put a kick through that was pointless, like most of the ones that we try, because we don't have an ability to break down the defensive line, because running sideways with no drop-off runners, offering is just never going to work. But Cass then spotted so quickly the player who was out of position, not arsing to run back in and get himself back on side and stuff, and just ran at that spot and made gaps. When Wigan had no fullback, they put in kicks that the minute the line had to play at, and the lucky bounce landed for them, and then they were able to put people through. Grant Millington played in the pack. You know, you've heard the expression in football when they talk about centre-halves played like he's had a dinner jacket on or whatever, because he's had a simple game. Grant Millington did that in the fucking pack of forwards in a rugby league game. It was ridiculous. It was untouched all game, and you know, and then even when Wigan did hit Cass quite hard at the start of a few sets, Cass just got up and went for more, whereas Wigan almost thought one good hit at the start of a defensive set and the job was done. Whereas Cass backed up effort on effort. They didn't let themselves lose 2 plays in a row, sort of thing, throughout the whole game. They were outstanding, and Wigan were terrible, and the attitude was off for Wigan, which was very disappointing for me, having travelled over and spent my money and my time and all of that. But it was really nice to meet Rob. And
so what you say is every silver lining has a massive fuck-off cloud.
Yeah, and I don't know what sort of team... Michael McIlroy's picked up a grade B for standing on someone. I don't know when that happened. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I don't know what happened, to be honest. But but for Cass, there's a worry for the Huddersfield game in that no Gale and no Ben Roberts, who went off midway through the first half injured, didn't affect them at all in this game because Gale was able to cruise through it and even got sat down for the last few minutes.
Yeah.
But they were all really good, and particularly the England call-ups were very good. And Millington was, like I said,
playing in a din jacket. Yeah. Check his fucking heritage. Right, so what did the stats...
Well, it's residential grounds, he'd be able to play, wouldn't he?
Exactly.
Cass were very dominant in almost every stat. A 13 to 12 error count against them was the only blip, but even that was from a lot more ball than their opponents. 5.6% better team tackle success and 2 fewer penalties conceded, complemented a 13 to 2 clean breaks count, a huge 723 more metres, and a frankly ridiculous 2.3 metres per carry better average game.
Right, they were cutting through then, weren't they? So individually, who stood out for us then?
Mike McMeekin with a try assist, 6 tackle balls, 179 metres, 3 clean breaks, 3 successful offloads.
Okay.
Michael Shenton with a try, 6 tackle balls, 177 metres, 3 clean breaks. Grant Millington with a try assist, 107 metres. Greg Minikin with 2 tries, 120 metres. Zach Cardick with a try assist, 5 tackle balls, 147 metres.
Did anybody do anything of note for Wigan?
Well, Tom Davies got 151 metres. The kid is
doing well,
racking up massive metres per game. He's right up there with anyone in the league in terms of metres per game this year.
I mean, it was a lot of this from... I'm not trying to do a lot of this service, but how much of this would you say was from returning kicks?
He had Wigan's second clean break,
right? Cool.
And a lot of it was work done as a sort of pseudo prop sort of thing. But he did occasionally look like he might have offered a threat, but there just wasn't enough support ever, and he didn't get good enough ball in attacking positions, to be honest.
Okay.
There was one play that completely summed it all up in the second half, about maybe 10 minutes into the second half. Willie Isa, Wigan have worked the ball quite well in there. One-man passing routine that doesn't fucking work ever actually was going to work on this occasion because they'd drawn some players into the middle before the play, and the ball got out, and Willie Isa, all he had to do basically was catch and pass it to Tom Davies, and Tom Davies was in a shout of doing the 40 metre, because once you make a clean break on that pitch, it's so short, you're almost scoring. Tom Davies had a great shout of doing that, but Willie Isa couldn't catch the ball. So not only could he not pass the ball, which was expecting to go wrong anyway, he couldn't catch the ball. So Wigan that summed up everyone. It wasn't a Willie Isa issue.
That was a microcosm of what was going on for them.
And Ryan Sutton, 108 metres. I think he ran really hard when he came on the pitch. The first forward to actually commit their defenders into actually having to win the ruck against us, sort of thing. But after all of that, when Wigan went to take the kick off after the try that Sam Powell scored, that took it back to 14 points to 4. He dropped on the first carry, and so that was another microcosm of exactly everything. And then Matt Cook scored one of the most pathetic tries Wigan have conceded this year, and it just kept going along those lines, really. And Castleford made every opportunity tell, even if they didn't have to do much some of the times to do it, or scored tries where Wigan normally would defend it out, and Cass were great.
There you go. Okay, fair play. Salford 30, Widnes 10, then marked down in Greater Manchester. 3,127.
Not a good enough crowd.
Refereed by Ben Thaler.
Caused quite a sturdy small crowd, and then there's been talk again today about Salford becoming Manchester, and that's obviously got a storm going in. But then there's people like Willows Road trying to drum up
Manchester got a storm going. Well done.
Trying to drum up a bit of fan coordination and support in terms of spreading the word in all the sort of little areas of Salford and that, trying to get people re-engaged with the club and telling them, stand here, you'll get a fucking free bus to the ground, you plebs, and that sort of stuff.
Speaking of Salford, your parents have those Rain Man moments where they come out with something completely unexpected, right? So my old days picked me and Aaron up from the airport on Saturday morning, and we're driving back over the M60 past the AJ Bell, and my mum looks out of the window of my dad's car, looks back at me and goes, "So a Salford play, isn't it?" Like, how the fuck have you even,
There's been a conversation on the way.
I reckon.
That's where we went for Tom's
possibly so. But she's just stone cold looked at me. That's where Salford play, isn't it?
On to the reviews. We haven't had any from Salford fans, which is disappointing.
That's surprising because not even got the fucking games.
We want to get
We've
more
got some Salford fans. Fucking Rosavier,
He's got time to fucking
Where's
troll
he
me,
gone?
hasn't he?
Yeah, got time to troll Matt. Tell us about your team.
Paul Ludo Lewis said the witness board need to give Theresa May a call as we're lacking in some strong and stable leadership both in the dugout and on the pitch. You don't need to actually be strong and stable, Paul. You just need to say it a lot. Teams score against us and not one player can be seen trying to get the team together again. The only person who attempts to give instructions is our fat bastard strength and conditioning coach, who clearly goes buy one get one free on the dominoes with Pat Arvan. We're going down. And then Paul O'Brien said, another poor performance from the Vikings. Lack ideas in attack. Defence was poor and too many stupid penalties conceded. Team looked tired and uninterested. Not looking forward to the visit of Hull next week.
Oh dear, yes.
Oh, very damning stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's not a good time to be a witness fan, is it? Because as much as good stuff, as well run as the club is in some respects, and as much credit you've got to give the way that they run themselves and they cut the cloth and what have you, there is need for investment there, isn't there? There is a reason for some reason it's not happening.
Well, that's the problem.
Maybe there's no one out there.
We sort of expected them to go in around this sort of structure they've been doing of the 2-year deals, the good succession planning of keeping a core of the team together. But we expected a splash signing every now and again. And to be honest, they did that a little bit with Corey Thompson.
Yeah.
But they haven't done it enough in enough places, enough times.
No.
They're willing to take complete rejects like Jack Buchanan.
Yeah.
And not really... And I know that was different because it was a mid-season sort of signing, but...
Well, he's had a pre-season now.
Don't pin your hopes on...
Jack Buchanan.
On someone like that to be your NRL import. I mean, Chris Houston, works his hardest and tries to offer a little bit of leadership and stuff, but he's given away as many penalties as anyone else. I think Cruz Lehman and him are joint top in the penalty count this year,
right?
In Super League. So yeah, there's all those sorts of worries. I actually sort of listened in and out to this one on the radio on Sunday afternoon, and it sounded to me like attacks were not clicking for either side really early doors,
right?
And I don't know if it was a case of defences on top or attacks just not working until Ben Murdoch-Masila basically smashed his way through and said, let's have enough of that. And actually, up until about the hour mark, it wasn't a massive difference. Salford stretched away in the last 20 minutes when Widnes looked like they were going to have a comeback. With Tom Gilmore scored a really smart-looking try, and... Pat Arvan, I think, grabbed their other try, and it got to I think it was a 10-point difference at that stage. There was an opportunity there for them to roll on with that, but they just couldn't do it. And Salford actually regathered themselves and sorted it out, and Masila smashed over again. There was a lot of team changes for both the sides. I mean, Stephen Marsh played at full-back.
Wow.
Niall Evalds was in for O'Brien, who was out with concussion, for Salford, and had a really good game. Jake Bibby on the wing celebrated his new deal. Well, a good performance. He got put in for a try with a really sweet late offload, but right on the line by Josh Jones to get the try that he richly deserved. But yeah.
There you go. So what did the stats tell us on this one?
238 more metres and 4 more clean breaks for Salford explained why they were able to score more than Widnes. A 5.7% better team tackle success explained why they conceded less than Widnes.
Okay, so individually who stood out for the Red Devils?
Convicted spousal abuser Robert Louis had 3 try assists, 8 tackle busts, 133 metres. Josh Jones had a try assist, 6 tackle busts, 156 metres. Chris Wellham's Super League Renaissance continued, a try assist, 5 tackle busts, 132 metres.
You ran his stick together, didn't you?
Adam Waln, 42 tackles and 107 metres, so both ways from Waln. And Jake Bibby, a try, 169 metres, 2 clean breaks.
Okay, what's the role of for Widnes looking like?
Chris Houston, 40 tackles, 10 marker tackles, worked hard. Jack Buchanan, 113 metres. Every time I slag him off, he then pops up in the...
Yeah, but 113 metres, no offloads, no clean breaks, no massive try assists or anything like that. It's steady away work, isn't it?
Stephen Marsh, 144 metres. Ryan Ince, 103 metres, coming in on the wing, the young kid there.
There you go.
Like I say, patched up team. I've actually run some numbers this weekend, and we talk about the injuries at Wigan and Warrington early on in the piece, and Hull. And whilst some of those injuries have been like significant, or people who've been injured before the season even started and that sort of stuff, Widnes have used 32 players so far this season in 12 games.
Right.
That's more than a lot of teams using the entire of last season.
That's a lot, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, final game of the weekend then saw Wakefield Trinity defeat the Catalan Dragons by 30 points to 10.
Did I say Widnes? Did I say Widnes?
Yeah, you did say Widnes.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm starting to get a bit tired now.
Yeah, blah 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 Trin, blah 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 Cat, 30 points to 10, 4,017, refereed by Phil Bentham.
Tyler Casfan said,